Yo,
connected,
y'all
man.
enjoy yourselves. I hope y'all enjoyed this broadcast as much as we enjoyed delivering it to you.
Be
This
careful.
is a shorter episode, but that's not because there's beef, drama, or we edited out somebody storming
32
off.
minutes.
Yeah.
Somebody who
32?
mysteriously you can hear in the background in the last episode, but didn't show up for the Patreon.
Yeah, word. So,
Look at them telling me not to worry about it. Dang. Here my contented ass is exaggerating the situation. I am a subscriber to Imani's Patreon, and he just dropped this morning with 2 gorgeous women, and they are getting into a little strange bag. In any case, Imani missed the pod, which is absurd, because he was on the main pod where they were discussing him dressed as Michael Jackson. Therefore, it is evident that Imani is doing well and that he is managing his business. However, it is the problem. Since Joe makes it apparent that nothing is happening behind the scenes, even if I can certainly speculate that something is, I believe his company is beginning to get in the way of the JBP. Since he released his Patreon today, I don't believe a conflict broke out. It gives me the impression that I must go take care of business on my end. You guys don't require me for Patreon, do you? Nah, you could go handle your business, do whatever it is that you need to do. Joe will undoubtedly reply. However, he will keep it in the back of his mind. And a special thanks to Mark, who was the one who initially made the announcement. They revealed it at the very end of the Patreon episode, despite the fact that I had previously discussed it yesterday. Nothing is happening, but something did take place. Additionally, Mark is referring to a confrontation and a blowout that occurred and caused him to leave the Patreon for roughly 32 minutes. What if Imani was present to launch the Patreon and people were naturally making jokes and comments about him and he just wasn't having it today? Guys, you know what? Y'all experienced an eruption and Joe said, you know what? We'll just have a Patreon without you, so go home and be happy. We'll just proceed without your presence. Speaking of Patreon, I'm keeping an eye on Flip's whereabouts, so I'll be posting a video there today. You can also visit his Twitter page. You can see what's happening behind the scenes at the JBP just by looking at Queen's Flip's movements on his YouTube and Instagram pages. In any case, what if Imani is becoming well known in Britain? What if he is finished following Joe's instructions? What if he's had enough of being the target of jokes? And because I was going to say Imana, a shout out goes out to Mona. Dion Mona is encouraging him, not in a bad manner. When she notices how much they make fun of him, she gives him a boost. Additionally, Mona is the primary speaker about all the inside jokes that she is unaware of, which bothers her. Naturally, she will observe who is making jokes about whom, where the jokes are coming from, and what topics people are discussing when they are making jokes. And additionally, the more she recognizes it and the more she exalts Imani, the more she reassures him that he is not wrong for feeling the way he does because she is only exalting Joe and Mark. That's really telling then. That's a deception though, because she's letting him know that he can enter the entire gut. That's what she's telling him. But I won't make a huge deal out of this. I wanted to draw attention to the fact that Imani was missed on Patreon because of what occurs when there is no one with whom to laugh. Although I've been criticizing Mona a lot lately, I must give her a lot of credit because I wouldn't have watched the show yesterday if it weren't for her attempts to carry them. Throughout, I knew I would be in for some serious trouble as soon as I noticed that it was less than 2 hours. Fortunately, though, they informed us at the end of the show that this wasn't the way things were intended to go. Imani and possibly Mark were scheduled to be there for 2.5 to 3 hours, but I'm going to stop putting Mark in a bad light. I will only try to communicate with Mark when events are taking place. I will no longer attempt to forecast that. But Mani, avoid making this a habit. My mother used to constantly advise me to make sure I had another job lined up before quitting one. To put it simply, your Patreon is doing really well. I'll acknowledge that first. However, is your Patreon sufficient to support you? Unquote. Additionally, this could be nothing at all. You all understand what I mean. It's just conjecture. It's all speculation. What I'm referring to is unknown to me. I'm simply making this whole thing up. Hopefully this will be one of those vids where I'm genuinely making this up. Regarding the 2-hour Patreons, it appears that they have absorbed some of the criticism from us because I haven't been watching many episodes, including guests, but I was considering that earlier today, bro. The majority of Joe's most popular episodes, if you only look at his catalog over the years that he has been hosting the podcast, have been interviews. He is therefore attempting to relive that experience in his imagination. He is attempting to regain the former magic. Just because they are making press runs rather than him looking for the best interviews, the folks he is bringing on aren't the ones we truly want to see win. Additionally, you could see Joe isn't too interested because they are on press runs. Naturally, I assume that the money must be good. However, I was considering this earlier and thought, dude, there must be another reason besides him trying to just get the podcast out for all these interviews. It made sense because Kevin Samuels' Chance the Rapper interview was one of his best episodes to date. I recall the first time he spoke with Push, which was during the Adon story. The interview was enormous. However, if you look at the periods when he interviewed these folks, you'll see that they were also at their best. You will therefore need to interview those who are now in the current zeitgeist if you plan to continue using the interview method. You will need to capture moments that we want to watch for us to want to keep watching these interviews, whether they are in the streaming, music, or Hollywood domains. That's exactly what Tasha K is doing, even though she's really untidy. She is always interviewing someone who was involved in something, or at least someone connected to it, whenever I see her on YouTube. So if you want to resurrect that ancient magic, you'll need to take the same path. But those are only my opinions. Who am I? Who am I? Actually, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just go on YouTube and start talking behind the mic because I find it entertaining. But I am grateful for all of your continued support. If you like the video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the page. If so, you already know how awesome we are here. You already know it. We will keep moving on this path. Once again, this is a great time to become a Patreon subscriber. We arrived and remained silent. You guys have been showing incredible love and support. You guys have been really reliable over there. I'm very grateful. All we're going to do is keep this thing going and that thing moving. I'll see you all a bit later.